The air on Leyte doesn't move. It hangs thick and wet, a shroud of steam clinging to your skin, filling your lungs with the scent of orchids in decay. In Tokyo, even on the most stifling summer day, there was always a breeze from the bay, a sense of life moving through the city's veins. Here in the Ormoc Valley, only death moves. It moves in the whine of mosquitoes, in the rustle of unseen things in the undergrowth, and in the distant, rhythmic coughing of American mortars that tells you they are finding their range. The jungle itself holds its breath, waiting for the killing to begin anew. My name is Tanaka Hiroshi. Before this war, I wore the crisp, dark uniform of a Tokyo policeman. My world was one of order, of rules. I walked the clean, predictable streets of Ginza, my mind trained to spot the smallest thing out of place. A broken window lock, a nervous twitch in a suspect's eye, the faint scuff marks on a polished floor. A crime scene speaks a silent language, and I was its interpreter. The truth is always there, written in the dust, etched in the evidence. One must only have the discipline to look. Here my uniform is stained with mud and sweat. My precinct is this muddy, desperate patch of earth we call a supply depot. But the work is the same. I am still an interpreter of silent languages. The enemy, the Americans, they are a force of chaos, but even chaos leaves a trail. Their traps have a signature, their demolitions a methodology. It is my duty, as a sapper of the 16th Engineer Regiment, to read that signature before it can speak in fire and steel. Today, the depot feels more vulnerable than ever. It is our heart. Inside those sweat-stained wooden crates lies the sacred fire of our resistance. Ammunition for the Arasakas, shells for the mortars, explosives for our own work. Without it, we are nothing but ghosts with silent rifles, waiting to be exorcised from this island. The Americans know this. They press us from all sides, their patrols like hunting dogs sniffing at our perimeter. The men are thin, their eyes hollowed out by malaria and hunger, but the fire of their duty to the Emperor still burns. It is my job to ensure that fire is not extinguished by a moment of carelessness. My carelessness. This is the fear that coils in my gut, cold and heavy. It is not the fear of an American bullet or a shard of shrapnel. That is the fortune of war. My fear is a more personal demon. It is the fear of a momentary lapse, a detail missed. A tremor in my hand at the wrong second. In my old life, a mistake meant a criminal might escape justice. Here, a mistake means I send the souls of my comrades to Yasukuni in a blast of my own making. Their faces, trusting and weary, are a burden I carry with every careful step. Sergeant Ito approaches, his face a mask of grim resolve. Tanaka, the western perimeter, do another sweep. Something feels wrong. I nod. I do not ask what. A feeling is enough. In the jungle, instinct is as valuable as intelligence. I collect my tools, the slender probes, the wire cutters, the small mirror on a bamboo handle. They feel familiar in my hands, extensions of my senses. I move past the stacks of ammunition crates, their raw pine scent mixing with the jungle's rot. The men of my squad watch me go. They do not speak. They know my work is a solitary vigil. The western perimeter is a line of shallow foxholes and rotting logs facing a wall of impenetrable green. The air is thick with the buzzing of flies. Every shadow could hide a sniper. Every vine could be a wire. I begin my work not as a soldier, but as a detective. My eyes do not scan for the enemy. They scan for the crime scene yet to happen. I start with the ground. The mud here is a perfect witness. It records every footprint, every fallen leaf, every disturbance. I move slowly, my body low, my gaze sweeping in methodical arcs. The men on watch follow my progress, their rifles pointed into the silent green wall. They are the guardians, I am the augur, reading the omens in the earth. I see the tracks of our own patrols, the familiar prints of their tabi boots. I see the trails of insects, the scurrying of some small lizard. It is all part of the baseline, the normal pattern of the scene. Then I see it. It is nothing a soldier would notice. It is nothing a panicked man would see. It is a single stone, no bigger than my fist, sitting beside the foundation post of the largest ammunition shed. The shed is our treasury, holding the bulk of our mortar rounds. The stone is a common river stone, gray and smooth, but it is wrong, all wrong. My breath catches, not in a gasp, but in a controlled, silent intake of air. In Tokyo, I once caught a burglar because he had replaced a teacup on a shelf, but he had put it back with the handle facing left, when the homeowner, a creature of habit, always faced them to the right. A tiny detail. An insignificant break in the pattern. This stone is that teacup. I crouch, my pulse a slow, heavy drum in my ears. The mud around the post is soft from last night's rain, but beneath this stone, the mud is infinitesimally drier. And there are faint, almost invisible scratches on its side, not from tumbling in a river, but from being pried then placed. Someone put it here, deliberately, to mark a spot, no, to cover something. My training takes over. My fear is a distant thing, a cold point of light I can observe but not feel. All my focus narrows to the ground in front of me. I do not touch the stone. Instead, I take my slenderest bamboo probe and begin to explore the earth around it. Gently, a surgeon seeking a tumor, I press the probe into the mud an inch at a time. The resistance is uniform, soft, yielding earth again and again. I trace a circle around the stone. Then 6 inches to the left of the stone, the probe stops. It doesn't hit rock. The feedback is too clean, too flat. It is the dull thud of wood. My heart hammers against my ribs, a wild bird trapped in a cage. I continue probing, outlining the shape. It is a rectangle, roughly the size of a ration box. My hands are steady as I put down the probe and begin to dig, not with a shovel, but with my fingers. I scrape away the mud with the meticulous care of an archaeologist unearthing a fragile relic. The earth is cool and damp. My fingers soon touch the rough grain of wood. It is a box, buried shallow, too shallow for a supply cache. This is a grave waiting for its occupants. I clear the lid. There are no markings. I listen, my ear pressed to the damp wood, hearing only the blood in my own head. Slowly, carefully, I work my fingernails under the edge of the lid and lift. It is not nailed shut. It comes away easily. Inside, nestled in a bed of oilcloth, is the American demon. It is a block of their composition, see, explosive, pale, and putty-like. It is an efficient, brutal piece of engineering. Wires, one red, one black, lead from the block to a small, metallic cylinder, a pressure detonator. The weight of the earth above it was not enough to set it off. It was waiting for more, waiting for the weight of a crate or the boot of a soldier. The entire depot, the men, the mission, all of it held hostage by this silent, waiting thing. And now I understand the stone. The American sapper who planted this was clever. He knew we would sweep for wires, so he used none. He used a pressure plate, but he had to check his work, ensure the device was stable. He lifted the stone to see, then replaced it. It was his signature, his one small mistake, his vanity. Now the fear returns. It is a physical presence, a cold sweat on my brow, a slickness on my palms. The world shrinks to this small wooden box. The jungle noises fade. The distant mortars fall silent. There is only the bomb and my breathing. My own momentary lapse. The words echo in my mind. One slip, one tremor. I look at the detonator. It is a standard American M1A1. I have studied the diagrams, practiced on inert models. But diagrams are clean, sterile things. They do not convey the cold, malevolent reality of the object in your hands. It is an intricate puzzle, and the penalty for a wrong move is oblivion. My duty to the Emperor. The thought is an anchor in the storm of my fear. It is not about me. It is about the men behind me. It is about the sacred order of our nation, which these foreigners seek to destroy. My life is a small price to pay for its preservation. With a clarity that feels almost supernatural, I know what I must do. My fingers, which feel clumsy and foreign, move with a surgeon's precision. I trace the wires from the charge to the detonator. There is a safety pin, a thin piece of metal that must be reinserted before the pressure plate can be disarmed. To get to it, I must first ease the pressure. This is the moment, the fulcrum upon which everything rests. I take a deep, slow breath, the way my father taught me before practicing calligraphy. Center yourself. Let the hand be an extension of the will. I slide a thin piece of bamboo beneath the pressure plate, taking the weight of the dirt off the firing pin mechanism. My hand does not shake. I am no longer Tanaka the policeman or Tanaka the soldier. I am simply the instrument of my duty. With the pressure relieved, I can see the small hole for the safety pin. I take the pin from my kit. It glints in the filtered sunlight. I guide it towards the hole. The world is utterly silent. I can hear the scrape of metal on metal as the pin slides into place. It is the loudest sound I have ever heard. A click. A small, beautiful, final click. It is done. The demon is caged. I lean back on my heels, the tension draining from my body, leaving me weak and hollow. I look at my hands. They are covered in mud, but they are steady now. I sit there for a long moment, simply breathing the thick, heavy air. It no longer smells of decay. It smells of life. Sergeant Ito finds me there. He looks from my face to the box and he understands. There is no celebration. There is no praise. There is only a quiet, profound nod. He knows, as I do, how close we came to the void. We saved the depot. We saved our brothers. We have done our duty. Later, as I stand watch, looking into the unforgiving darkness of the jungle, I think of that stone. In the chaos of this war, in this maelstrom of violence and fear, the universe still has order. a stone out of place, a teacup turned the wrong way. The truth is always there for those with the discipline to see it. My old life in Tokyo, a world away, prepared me for this single moment. I am no hero. I am a policeman who found a clue and a sapper who did his job. Here on Leyte, that is more than enough. These memories are heavy, but they must be shared. Subscribe to ensure these stories are never forgotten.